Global Forum 2022. Can you hear me? Yes? All right. Welcome. Welcome to India Global Forum in Bengaluru. I'm Edie Lush.
And I am Laura Buckwell.
We will be your hosts for the next 2 days.
Yes, and over the next 2 days, of course, we are broadcasting to the world. So a big hello to our online audience that are also joining us here. If you'd like to continue the conversation as well while you're here, please do use our hashtag. It's just here on the back screen, IGF Summit.
We're here to explore and to shine a light on India's digital transformation. And we're also going to be looking at New India Inc.
We are indeed, and over the next 2 days, we're also going to be meeting entrepreneurs, business leaders, and senior government officials who are all driving positive change. The India Global Forum is where India meets the world and where the world meets India.
It is absolutely amazing to be here in Bengaluru. We're here broadcasting live from the verdant grounds of the Taj West End, and you can really see when you're here why Bengaluru is called the City of Gardens. It's also one of the world's mega cities, the second fastest growing city in India, city of science, Silicon Valley of India as well.
It really is. It's also home to some of the largest headquarters for Indian tech companies, exactly from startups to unicorns.
There was one unicorn born in 2011, hard to imagine now, 11 in 2020, and last year over 40 unicorns born, taking the total in India to well over 90. And of course, it's not just unicorns. We've got minicorns, soonicorns, decacorns, and apparently hectacorns.
Well, you're going to definitely have to try and describe what those are a little later on, if you don't mind.
As soon as I find out.
Excellent. Well, in fact, one of our speakers, Minister Rajiv Chandrasekhar, who we're also going to be hearing from a little later on, has actually, in fact, described the next 10 years as the decade of the new India Inc.
So to kick off, let's have up on stage the chief conspirator who made this event happen here in Bengaluru, Professor Manoj Ladwa, Chairman and CEO, India Inc. Group, and the founder of India Global Forum. Welcome, right in here.
Do take a seat. There we have it.
The rose between two thorns.
The rose between two thorns. In this part of the world, they call it kebab mein haddi.
Excellent.
I'll explain that later on.
Yeah, it's a bit lost on us, sorry.
I look forward to it. Slightly worrying.
Well, let's get straight to it. Our theme in Dubai, we saw you in Dubai in December, just a couple of months ago. And the theme then was dynamic alliances. You've got London coming up in June, where you're going to be focusing on resilience, reinvention, and regrowth. Now, the theme this time, of course, is New India Inc. Tell us a little bit more about that, what it means to you, and also, especially when it comes to bridging this digital divide.
I think, firstly, look, it's great to be in Bangalore. I haven't been here for several years, and as you've said, it's such an amazing city, and great to see so many familiar faces and new friends in this room, and I'm looking forward to meeting each and every one of you during the course of the next 2 days. Let me just firstly take a quick step back, or 5 decades back. I was born and brought up in the UK. The first time I came to India was when I was 11. And then after that, the next time was when I was 18. And after that, I've been coming pretty much several times a year, and sometimes 3 times, 4 times in a month now because of the work that I do. And people used to ask me, Manoj, especially in those days, that why are you so fascinated with India, especially coming from a family that had emigrated from India? And don't you sort of see the dirt and the muck, and there's so much corruption and all the rest of it? I used to say to them every single time, yes, I do see that. I'm not blind. I see all of that, but I also see change. And over the last 20 odd years, I've seen change after change after change. The only difference is that change, and that change for better, has only accelerated. And so the last 2 years made us, I think all of us in this room and everybody watching this, really reflect about who we are, what we believe in, and where we actually want to be. And that's where, Laura, I felt that, look, we've all been through a horrendous time with COVID. And India took a real brunt with the Delta wave. And that was the only major thing that you'd see on headlines. Do you remember that time?
I remember
that month?
that time, yeah.
Thank God, we're able to meet in person, and most of us have taken off our masks, and we're vaccinated and so on. But there was another story that was emerging, and that's the story of the unicorns and the tremendous growth in entrepreneurship, in innovation. Many of them who have literally rags to riches stories. And India Global Forum is about telling that story, and we've been telling it to the world for several years. This is actually our first time doing an event here in India. So we felt we want to tell the story of the new India Inc. And what better place than Bengaluru?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We're going to unpack all of that over the next couple of days, and India is set to achieve over 9% growth, I think, this year. We're going to speak to the Honorable Finance Minister tomorrow. The focus, as we've heard from her, from Prime Minister Modi, is on the next quarter century, getting India from 75 years of independence to 100. So what are we going to hear about in the next 2 days that's going to help us understand that more?
You always ask me this question. I don't know. We've got so many great speakers. We've got the Honourable Minister of State for External Affairs here, Meenakshi Lekhi. We've got so many friends. Umang's here, that you're going to hear. Prashant's here. So many friends that are here, Dr. Vijay Chotaiwala, who are actually going to, I think, unpick this and probably do it, or will do it much better than I. But actually what I'm looking forward to is hearing three things from every speaker. I'm really fascinated about the journey. So where have our speakers come from? What they're currently doing, because there's so much interesting stuff that they're doing. And then, what does the future hold? And what are the action points? How can people, there are participants at IGF or members of IGF, engage with our speakers, engage with our members, to take the next step. So I think it's a whole gamut of all of these different things. But for me, it's always, IGF has always been about the story and let that story unfold. And what my team has been doing in the background is that we look at these as markers in the sand, and we run, I think, 14 odd boardroom initiatives on culture and diplomacy to electric vehicles. We've got one on global supply chains and skills and education a little later on today, and so on. And that's where the real action takes place, and that's where a lot of the policy interventions get sort of worked through and so on. So what you see here is going to be great fun, I think. We're going to have lots of food for thought, but IGF is also about what happens in the background and the networking, and we've got lots of that as well. Right answer?
I think that's okay. We'll check back with you later tomorrow and see if that was the right answer.
Now, you've had great support in the form of Umang Bedi, co-founder of Versi Innovation.
I did not say that.
I'm pretty sure you did earlier. So he's here with us today, and I'd very much like to bring him up on stage as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's hear it for Umang Bedi, co-founder of Versi Innovation, which powers Daly, Hunt, and Josh.
Sorry, you could have dressed up.
You know, I'm just amazed that, firstly, a big thank you for doing this in Bangalore, and we don't have to fly to London or Dubai. But how did you get a room full of people to dress up in formals with ties and jackets in Bangalore? I mean, that is an achievement by itself.
We're a British organization.
Clearly.
Well, it's true. Everyone looks fantastic. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for joining us here today. So first up, I'd quite like your take on the theme of this year, the New India Inc. Tell us a little bit more about what that means to you.
You know, so maybe I'll start off by saying that I'll just echo what Manoj said. It's just great to see so many familiar faces. I've been on 4 Zooms with Dr. Vijay doing something similar in the past, and it's just great to be here and see so many friends and familiar faces. Really nice to see that Bangalore is the chosen city because it truly represents that India Inc. For me, I think the last 2 years has been significant because on one hand, we've had the most catastrophic human tragedy across mankind, right? But at the same time, the way India Inc. has progressed, the new India has emerged. I mean, if you think about, 2.5, 3 years ago when Prime Minister Modi called around, the clarion call of Atmanirbhar Bharat and being self-sufficient, I think it has given boon to some of the biggest tech companies and startups that were very small. Today, the fastest unicorn has been born in this city in 6 months, right? And when you think about that opportunity, even for us at Verse Innovation, our app is just one, Josh, which is actually born during the pandemic, is just one small contribution towards that digital India. But I think the new India Inc. is all about innovation and evolution. It's going to be deeply rooted in innovation, and I think about how human behavior has changed. My father is 78 years old. He would have never thought of ordering a cab or ordering groceries on an app. Today, that is life. So India has kind of moved from just consuming, YouTube and Netflix to really building out systems, whether it's gaming, entertainment, healthcare, financial services, digital inclusion, agri-tech. I think this whole transformation is what's going to drive the next phase of economic growth.
Fascinating to see. Speaking of unicorns, how many unicorns can we expect very quickly over the next couple of days to actually be here in person?
I gather about 30 odd of them are going to be galloping in over the next...
It's about a third of the unicorns in India.
Around 72 billion in valuation plus Umang, so whatever that may be. But I just wanted to touch upon the point that Umang made, is that innovation is at the core of what this new India Inc. is about. Before, it used to be about begging, borrowing, occasionally stealing technologies. Today it is about creating real value and IP. And if you can innovate for 1 billion people, you can innovate for the world. And that's what India Global Forum is about. It's about that journey of taking India to the world and then making sure that we're able to create trusted bridges across sectors, across policy and politics and diplomacy as well. So that's where it is, and these are the guys that are making it all happen.
So Umang, bring us back from that grand statement about the world to Bengaluru. Why are you based here?
I mean, in India, if not Bangalore, then where, right? Sorry about that for the folks
There are
from
a few other places you
I
could
feel
be
bad
based.
for you, but nonetheless. But I think the reason is obvious, right? Our IP goes home every night and comes back, hopefully comes back the next morning, and that's people, right? And when you think about it, it starts with people. This is a city that is the hub of innovation right from yesteryear. So whether you look at ISRO being here, or IISc being here, or HAL being here, technology and science is very deeply rooted into the culture. The second reason is, you follow the money. When you think about it, in the last 2 years, 30 billion plus has been invested in India, more than 49% of which has actually come to Bengaluru, right? 41% of the new startups that are emerging come from this city. When you think about the environment and the professionalism, it's a very easygoing culture, very Silicon Valley-like vibe, but more than anything else, there is a lot of cutting-edge innovation here. Some of the best entrepreneurs, right? I mean, have moved bases from Bombay or Rajasthan for different companies and actually moved back. When you think of the statement that you made introducing the team, tech centers are here for global multinationals. I mean, IKEA just moved from NCR, sorry about that, back into Bengaluru, right? So when you think about it from a technology standpoint, from a skill standpoint, think about it, there are more than about 9 million people in Bengaluru. More than 7 million are employed in tech, one way or the other, right? 20 years ago, this was a city where people retired because this was the retirement capital of the world. But the kind of culture, the kind of innovation, the kind of skills people, tech innovation that's coming out, startups being born, a culture of innovation, and 70% of the world's venture capital firms are based here. So when you add all that up, it is a great place to be.
Fantastic. Well, we will look forward to hearing more from both of you over the next 2 days, not only here on the stage, but also at the India Global Forum Media Studio. We'll be back in just a moment